Hey guys, Natasha Tessier here, owner of Dwell Realty and Design. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to discuss new construction and all the warnings that come with that this day and age. Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier. I own Dwell Realty and Design in Houston, Texas. Born and raised here. Anything and everything you want to know about the city of Houston, hit the subscribe button. Introduce yourself, tell me who you are, and if you're even a year off or whatever, let me know where you're coming from or why you're thinking of moving. I'd love to hear from you. Today, I wanted to talk about all the warnings and things going on with new construction. So unfortunately, right now, there's a lot of desperate people, desperate builders, people trying to sell. Obviously, the market shifted from a big time seller's market in the spring to a big time buyer's market. And a lot of these builders are sitting on some inventory new construction that they can't sell. And so every single day I get a message, a bonus, bring your buyer here and bring it. I mean, they're desperate. They're doing anything to get buyers to come through the door. So that's great. There's a lot of deals to be had and they're good deals. I got one, it was $575 last year. We got it under contract for $500. However, you have to be careful and you have to have a realtor in your corner. It doesn't cost you anything to take me or another agent with you, but it does help you, and let me explain why. So one of my clients, we put a house under contract. They would not take a contingency. So they were about to list their house out of state. Their agent told them, it's gonna sell, no problem, which I probably wouldn't have said, but they did. And they thought it would sell immediately. So we put this house under contract. They put $7,500 down with the new construction. I watched it come together for them out of state. We picked all hardwood floors. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, their house did not sell, and that happens right now. So they, of course, were wanting their $7,500 back. I mean, who would blame them? Well, the builder, is desperate and doesn't want to give that money back because people are dropping out of contracts and they're losing money. And so they don't want to give that money back. So that's an issue. So I was battling with them. Half off, all this, we'll give you $2,500 back. Then it was, we'll give you half of it back. Well, hopefully my goal is, they eventually get the house sold and they move here. But the builder was more like, well, why don't they just rent that house and, buy this one? Well, they don't have the money to do that. They need the down payment from the sale of the other house. The other option they suggested was, why don't they do a bridge loan for 6 months? And, once the house sells, they can pour it over. Well, what if the house never sells? Then they have 2 mortgages. So if you know me at all, I'm a fighter for my clients. Any of my clients will tell you that. I'm not gonna make anything at the end of this. Of course I wanted to close it this year and make the money, but that's not what it's about for me. It's my fiduciary responsibility to do what's best for these clients, and being in 2 mortgages or trying to rent out their house and buy another one is not what's in their best interest. So I battled the builder that way, and I, explained all that to them and tried to explain, if we can, because the builder kind of wasn't reacting in a proper way, in my opinion. So I was like, if we can keep the peace and they can get their house sold, maybe they'll come back if this house is still available or another. And they actually do have an interested buyer in their home now. Anyway, they were not giving them more than half back. So these people were out almost $4,000. I couldn't settle on it. So I kept trying to figure out a way to help them. And I read through the contract, and in there, and when you do a contract with a builder, it's not our Texas real estate contract, it's the builder's contract. So we don't, as the realtor, get to write up the contract, they write it up. So I, was trying to help them, trying to figure out a way to help them. Well, in the contract, it states that they have to be, approved for the loan. So I went back to my buyers and I'm like, can you guys afford, both mortgages? Well, absolutely not. And I said, okay, then you need to go to, and that's the other thing is these builders are trying to get you to be with their lender. So the lender can say, oh yeah, they're approved. So I told them to go back to that lender and say that you need to deny the loan because we don't have the down payment. It was based on the sale of this house. We can't afford both mortgages, all those things. So they did go back to the lender. The lender wrote a denial letter because the house couldn't happen, and they are getting their full refund back. So that's lesson number 1. But my point being is this is happening over and over and over right now. I have another client, the builder offered up to $20,000 in closing costs. He gave her estimates on what her payment would be, all that stuff. And now we're getting close to closing and it's $400 more a month. And I'm not okay with that. Like, she's a single mom. She doesn't have an extra $400 a month. And they started saying, well, you could go FHA. Well, going FHA makes her have high insurance, you know? It's on the loan because that's what they require. So that's another couple $100 a month. Or they said, oh, are you, instead of putting 5% down, you have to put 10% down. Well, you know, that's from $15,000 to $30,000. She doesn't have $30,000. So again, I'm fighting on her behalf, and I think I've gotten it down to where, I said, you either have to lower the cost of the house, you got to do something to get her back to where we started. And they're very, very close now, and she's comfortable. But my point being is you have to have somebody in your corner to fight. There's a lot of new construction and there's a lot of deals, but you have to read the fine lines, and you have to have somebody who knows what they're doing if you get in trouble. And if you're moving to Houston or in the Montgomery, I'm out in the Montgomery area, but I sell all through Houston, I would love to be that person for you. If you're moving all over the state, I have so many agents that are trained like me and know how to help you out of these situations. But you have to be cautious because it looks like a good deal. It is a good deal, but it comes with strings, and you got to be able to look through the fine lines and figure it out. So that's my spiel for today. I obviously love my builders I work with, but I don't love them taking advantage of my clients, and I won't allow it. And I sell a lot of real estate. So like for this past one, I have another client looking in there, and they were about to sign a contract. And I basically said, if you guys can't work this out with my first client financially, I'm going to tell the other client what's happening, and she's probably not going to do this, deal with you guys. So anyway, I'm very sweet, but I don't like my clients being taken advantage of. I love to just make sure that they're getting the best deal, that they're comfortable with everything, and that's not putting them in a bad situation. That's not my job. My job is to get them a home they love, that they can afford, and they feel comfortable with. So if I can help you, reach out. I hope you have a blessed day.